Hello, everybody. Good morning. Please put your phones away.
Phones away.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for being here to learn about the One Ocean Expedition and the work that your classmates have been doing in both Climate Academy and Marine Science. So we have a special guest here today, Haakon Vatle, and and he is the designer and leader of this ambitious One Ocean Expedition. His home is in Bergen, Norway, and he has a background as a sailor, sea shanty leader, and environmental organizer. He has a talent for bringing together people and organizations with a shared commitment to protecting our oceans.
When we began working on the Message in the Bottle project, Ms. Krahling and I were immediately drawn to Haakon's inspirational, optimistic, and determined nature. We're so excited to introduce him today. Please welcome Haakon Vatle.
Let's go!
Good morning, everybody. It's really a true honor to be here and to visit Lehmkuhl. I've been having doing all these projects. Always nice. You know, you meet a lot of people when you plan these projects. I've been doing it for many years, both these events, but also I was doing big festivals for many years. And then you have these people you meet along the way. People who just talk and say that's a good idea, and then you have the people who walk the talk. And I would give a big hand to Mary and Talia. Because we had this vision of doing this message in a bottle, and then we got connected through our general consulate here in San Francisco with Lehmkuhl, and it was we just hit it. It really worked, and now we are here, and the ship is here. It came in yesterday. So I know that some of you are coming down to the ship, isn't that true?
Yeah.
After going one thing on board the ship, if they ask you and you're supposed to say yes, you don't say yes, you just answer with a loud and clear ahoy. You ready? Ahoy. So you don't have the yes on board the ship, you only have ahoy. So I'm going to give you a short brief of the expedition. I started my career on deck on this ship, which is one of the biggest tall ships still in active use. We have a crew of around 30 professional sailors, and then we have up to 135 students like you sleeping on board in 2 rooms in hammocks side by side, sailing around the world. We do have toilets on board the ship, but they are sleeping in hammocks. And then on board this ship we then have a lot of institutions, universities and schools taking the ship, sailing it from A to B, and now we are in San Francisco. So how did this all start? I was working on deck, always dreamed about sailing around the world. And when I came back as a CEO in 2016, I thought, let's take this ship around the world, but let's make a meaning out of it. Because, you know, today we are talking about pollution and to reduce the emissions. I like to say that we have been for over 100 years where the future wants to be, because we are mainly using the wind to drive this ship over the ocean. So we thought, let's do it with a meaning. So we used 5 years to plan this first expedition, which was a 20-month circumnavigation of the globe in 21 till 23. And we saw what attention this ship was building and creating around the world, both in ports but also out at sea. But I like to see that the ship is connecting people when you're on board, but also connecting people when we are ashore and having all these events. So this changed the whole course of the ship. So we've been a leadership and sail training vessel for many years, but now we turned it also in to become a scientific vessel. And last year we did a big overhaul of the ship, so now she serves as a sail training and research vessel. And I guess many of you know more than me about all the instruments we have on board, and you will also get to show these when you're coming down on the ship. This does not mean too much to you, I guess, but we have a lot of strong supporters, prime ministers and our crown prince, who are really strong dedicators and fans of the expedition. And that's important. I like to say, you've been to music festivals. I did a lot of music festivals, and organizing this project here is much the same. I would say that you have to get, when you start planning, you have to get like Rolling Stones, one of the big headliners, on the top, and then other bands want to play. That's also how we do it with this project. We need to get some really hot shots on the top who understand and support the mission, and then other people want to play. So that's also a good tip to you. Always get somebody on the top to support your mission, then other people want to join. So what do we see that the ship can do? We are now the future of our ship. We see that we can make a difference for the ocean. So we are now a dedicated ambassador for the UN Ocean Decade. I will come back to that. We want more global and broad partnerships. I like to say that I love my ship, but there are two ships that are more important than my ship, and those are partnerships and friendships. With those we can make a difference and things can happen. Also, with this world going a bit crazy, we also see what is nice on our ship. We're going to use our ship as a ship of reconciliation between borders for the one ocean that knows no borders. So when we're out there sailing, we have up to 35 different nationalities from all over the world being on board this little ship, which I like to call a little planet, where everybody has to work together to get the ship safe from port to port. It is also a nice metaphor of how we have to work with this world to make a difference. So now we're out sailing on this expedition. We're planning now, and I'm going to release it to you at the end of my session here, what we're planning on, a 2-year circumnavigation of the globe in 28 to 2030, and maybe some of you will be joining us on that voyage. You know about Ocean Decade, or have you heard about Ocean Decade? No? Neither did I a couple of years ago. So we are now a part of the Ocean Decade, which is a global thing, and they say the vision is to get the science we need for the ocean we want. And this is, everybody who loves the ocean, I think, should print this out and have it up on their walls. This is the outcomes they want through 21 till 2030, a clean ocean, a healthy and resilient ocean, a productive ocean, a predicted ocean, a safe ocean, an accessible ocean, and last but not least, where our ship makes a difference, an inspiring and engaging ocean. So we are a part of this, as you are actually now being a partner of the expedition. So what are we going to do? This is DNA of our expedition. We want to use our ship to create attention and to share knowledge of the crucial role of the ocean for a sustainable future in a global perspective. The message in the bottle, Andrew School, you are making this possible. You have brought other schools around the voyage, coming on board, bringing the messages towards the captain, which you will do today. And when we get back to Bergen in April, there will be an exhibition. Maybe you should come over and have a look at it. Did I say that? You have to fix the funding, but that's going to be very nice. And I am not a scientist. I'm just a happy sailor, happy musician who loves the ocean. And what I noticed from the first expedition is that we had a lot of scientists on board, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. Do you know that you have the same issue? Yes. And I like to say that much less than 1% of the world's population are scientists. Still, the scientists have so extremely important knowledge, which we have to get out to the people so we can change our attitude to make a healthy ocean for the generations to come. So what I saw on the first expedition, that our ship is helping to reduce the gap between science and the public. So I also then always ask the scientists, but I don't understand. What do you want me to do? So this making it understandable, getting it out on social media, and getting a lot of people who are good communicators as well as being good scientists, that is a brilliant thing. So we also say we're going to get the people we need for the ocean we want, not only the science, just have a passion and love the ocean. We cannot save the ocean alone. Together we make a positive impact. And last but not least, that we must create hope and remember to have fun. I like to say that having fun is bloody serious business. Because there's so much doom and gloom when you read the news and you watch on the television that everything is, it's bad. No, we can make a change. But we have to have it by doing fun, having fun stuff together, see that we can make a change, being positive, instead of forcing it into people in a negative way. That's how we can do it, and it works on board a ship in a small scale. I think we'll just jump to this. We were supposed to sail the Northwest Passage. This is the route we are on now. I was on the ship as we sailed from Greenland, but then there was too much ice. So we actually had turned the ship. And of course then you had those who deny climate change. They were very fast out on the social media saying, haha, isn't it good that it's ice up there? Then it's nothing wrong with the climate. Now the thing is that it's actually because of global warming that we could not sail, because it was the glaciers, and in Norwegian we call it, they are calving, so they're releasing much more ice from the glaciers because of the global warming. And these are the icebergs that prevented us from sailing around. So within 36 hours, we rescheduled the ship and managed to get through here because we needed to get to Drew School. We had commitments all along the west coast of US, and now we are here. We came up to Vancouver on time. We were in Seattle, where there was a One Ocean Week. Now we are here in San Francisco. There's going to be a whole week of events here. Sailing the ship down to San Diego, and in San Diego we're getting on board a Mexican partner, bringing youth from Mexico on board the ship down to La Paz, and onwards we move until we get back to Bergen again in April with your message and message from other schools as well. I think I'm going to end by showing you what we are planning on now for 28 to 2030, and please start dreaming, and maybe you will be on board our ship as we do our next circumnavigation of the globe. And I might need help now. This should be a film. Press one more time. This is how we plan. We make a vision, and we go out there and present it, and then we try to get Rolling Stones on the top, and then we hope other bands want to play with us, and then we can make an expedition. I would also like to say, I'm only representing a ship. We are nothing without our partners like Drew School, like we have 40 other partners who charter the ship, who believe in it, and fund it, and support it. With our partners, then we have a mission that gives a meaning, that is powerful, and we are in it together. So this is what we're planning, and again, hope to see you on board, if it works out. Do you want to join? Yeah! Okay, I'll see you on board. Yeah, Talia, thank you very much for your attention.
All right, exciting stuff. And so we want to tell you a bit now about how we got involved with it and what your classmates have been doing. So Haakon reached out to us because he wanted to connect young people with this initiative, and he'd heard a bit about the work that we do at Drew with our experiential learning around the environment. So Mary and I then created 6 project options, which you can see up here, that enable high school students in port cities along the expedition route to increase their knowledge and, most importantly, to advocate for change. This work is aligned with Drew's mission to help students find and use their voice. Our students in Climate Academy and Marine Science have worked on several different projects, from producing documentaries about our coastal city of San Francisco and the dangers of sea level rise, to collecting data on microplastics, to creating art that sends a message about climate change.
Can you raise your hand if you actually did one of the projects in Message in a Bottle? Raise your hand high. So I know we all were really anticipating this day. And later today, we will officially hand off our project to the captain of the Statsraad Lehmkuhl, who will bring them back to Bergen, Norway for One Ocean Week in April. Through these projects, our students will speak to political leaders, scientists, business owners, tech innovators, and environmental advocates, who we hope will heed our call to make the change we want to see to protect our ocean and in turn, our future. Next, I'm proud to show one of our sample projects created by our marine science students, Charlie, Audra, and Josiah. And here we go. Introduce it.
Hi, I'm Audra. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Josiah.
First of all, we'd like to say that we are so lucky to be part of this One Ocean initiative.
And we're going to be showing our video that we made about microplastics and how they have entered the bay and are affecting us as humans.
Here's our video.
The Bay is the largest watershed on the Pacific coast of America. It is home to thousands of animal species and a vital part of our community. Hidden below the surface, an estimated 7 trillion tiny plastic particles enter the bay every year. And once they're here, they never go away. Microplastics come from everyday items like the little fibers from our clothing, tire rubber wearing off of our cars, and trash carried by stormwater. These invisible plastics flow straight into the bay, adding up until the water itself becomes polluted. San Francisco is also home to a thriving seafood culture. Families buy crabs, fish, and oysters from markets along the bay, in addition to traditional grocery stores, unaware that these meals may carry more than just protein. Crabs, one of the bay's most iconic catches, have been found to contain an average of 0.67 microplastic particles per gram of edible tissue, meaning that when we eat crab, we are likely ingesting plastics as well. But it's not just crabs. Fish ingest plastics when they mistake them for food. Oysters and mussels filter thousands of liters of water and trap microplastics inside their shells. Even the smallest plankton, the base of our entire food chain, are consuming plastics. And once plastics enter the food chain, they don't leave. They move up from tiny organisms to bigger fish, to seafood, and finally to us. To better understand how this global issue appears in our community, we went to a local seafood market and bought a fresh crab, one that could easily end up on any of our dinner plates. We examined the crab's intestines, muscle tissue, and gills under the microscope, and our findings confirmed the research. Tiny threads of plastic were scattered throughout, 14 distinct fibers in one small pellet, clear evidence of just how deeply plastics have entered the food chain. Although invisible to the human eye, these plastics will accumulate over time, working their way up the food chain and posing risk to our health. But the story doesn't have to end here. We can act. Solutions already exist to reduce microplastic pollution in the bay. From upstream prevention and better stormwater systems, to green infrastructure and rain gardens, we can stop plastics before they ever even reach the bay. Protecting the bay means protecting ourselves and our food chain.
All right, thank you everybody. Let's hear another round of applause for all the students. And big thank you to Haakon for joining us here at Kerr. Most of you are off to class, but if you're coming with us on the field trip, please meet us in the front lobby as soon as possible. Your bags. And you don't need your backpacks, leave them at school.
Guys.